Hi everyone and welcome to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name is Adam Sykes, founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform.
And I'm Craig McCarthy. I'm the development manager of SwiftCase and I work at the Baltic Triangle office in Liverpool.
Hello, I'm Phil and I also work at the Baltic Triangle in Liverpool and I'm a developer.
Okay, great. So today we were thinking about talking a little bit about how we've started our sort of journey into marketing.
Yeah.
I suppose in the broad sense that in the past we've obviously been growing our business over the last few years, focused on our product and building our system SwiftCase, which is a platform where people can improve their workflows and actually run their whole business. So we've basically been making that for a lot of our clients who we've come to through various means, word of mouth, and
it was primarily word of mouth and website, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, and certainly we got like local connection, networking, certainly in our local area, I suppose. And now we kind of got to a point where our product is well developed. We're sort of on our second, third iteration, really, aren't we? Built, the feature set's quite rich.
Yeah,
and we've got lots of clients where we've got it live. We've got hundreds of thousands of users now across our client base that you use in SwiftCase on a daily basis. So we really, this year, we were focusing on how we can get our product out to help more people.
I mean, it's always been one of those things that we've kind of neglected because we've always done quite well by the customers would come to us, wouldn't they, really? Yeah. Or we'd go out there and we'd just word of mouth, really, networking. So it was time to really focus on getting the word out there.
I suppose that there comes a point where you've got to focus on growing your business rather than working inside your business, isn't there? So I think from my point of view is when I started the business and Craig was employee number one, weren't you? So I think when we started, obviously it is a road to get to the bit where you can sort of step back from your business and you put procedures in place, you put systems in place where hopefully it runs without you. I can actually have holidays and not have to have my laptop permanently attached myself and phone, taking phone calls from clients at the top of Greek mountains or whatever happened in sort of like the early years of the business. And you can be freer to focus on other things. And also, I suppose looking back, I wish I'd probably done this sooner. Yeah. There is that sort of phrase of work on your business, not in your business for entrepreneurs.
That's very true.
You kind of like in the early days, it doesn't make any sense to you. No. You're like, I'm a programmer, I should be doing programming. Yeah. And I think a lot of people think they start their business, and I think we did a podcast on this fairly recently. They might start their business and they're a finance guy or they're someone who does insurance or they basically start a business that was their occupation or their training, and actually it comes to a point where being in business is about doing the business side of things, which is like sales, marketing, promoting your business, growing your team, training, developing the systems. And I suppose what we've come to realise this year is that our big focus is marketing.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things we've been doing, I suppose?
Well, I mean,
other than the podcast.
Prime example is the podcast. We've been doing a lot more videos recently. Yeah. We've done a ton of research, haven't we, over the past few months, really, in terms of what works and what doesn't. And we find that video now, probably sound like a broken record because everyone's talking about it right now. Yeah. But video is such an important part of your social media campaigns. Gets tons more engagement. Ultimately it just works, doesn't it?
You get to see us.
Yeah, exactly. And you can actually do them quite quickly. And I think it's something again that we've covered in a previous podcast. I think a lot of people are hesitant to get involved with recorded video for a number of reasons, really. One of them, maybe I'm not confident enough. Yeah. But we found that early on, of course, they're not as good early on.
No, we're not. Yeah. We're not super confident. Generally, I don't know, but speaking for myself, I found it awkward to go on video at first, certainly. Yeah. And it is weird. And at the moment, I suppose we're doing our podcast and we are being videoed, but we took the decision in the initial podcasts, and we have been talking about this today, weren't we, earlier, about whether we should present to the cameras and whether we'd be confident to actually talk directly to the people, because we've gone for this kind of side-on approach. And there are ways you can do videos where you don't necessarily have to be
exactly
the limelight.
You don't have to actually show them to anyone either.
No.
If you're not confident, I think, as well as not being confident talking in front of other people, I think some people are not talking even confident talking even to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like for some people, videoing yourself is like a voyage of self-discovery about your mannerisms and your tics that some people just don't want to see. You know, but you should embrace that, because you know, if people like you, then they're taking all that on board anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's no better way of communicating with your customers other than maybe just actually going to see them.
Yeah.
Than doing it via video.
Yeah. And if you're selling to people at distance, it's not always possible, is it?
Exactly.
You know, and certainly if you don't want to be racking up air miles and like, you know, raising your carbon footprint or whatever else. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be jetting all around the country just have meetings. We've already said how bad meetings are.
Exactly.
You know, we've already discussed that in an earlier podcast. And you know, you do want people to see, because people buy from people, don't they?
Yeah.
So you want people to be able to trust you and get to know you, and there's no better way than
exactly
showing them.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think the other stumbling block really that people are just terrified of when it comes to video is the cost.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to produce this incredible video. Like, I'm looking at other, you know, our competitors, and they've all got these amazing, you know, fancy videos where they've obviously paid
in the studio with studio lighting,
you know,
graphics.
Everyone's incredibly good looking and everything. You know, but you know, we've all got smartphones in our pocket.
Yeah.
And they're all capable now. We're at a standard now where they're just as good as getting a fancy camera. You know, we've mentioned it previously, haven't we? We've got our microphone, and you know the cost of that wasn't that much, and it produces this great quality sound. You really can get started from nothing. Really,
you can just start. You don't need any equipment except your phone, and if you probably, if you're in business today, you've got a smartphone. Even if you're not in business, you've got a smartphone. There's very few people that won't have a phone that's got a video camera on that's high quality, that can record your sound. If you're close enough to it and there's not much background noise, you're going to get decent sound on that. And you know, find a room that's got some light that looks okay, and you know, away you go.
Laughing, really, aren't you?
You set your phone up with one of these kickstands on the back of your, back of your phone if you really want to, or just lean it against a book.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need the equipment.
There's no excuse for not getting started, really. And that's the ultimate aim, really, is just make sure you get started.
Yeah. If you keep going, you're going to hopefully make better content when you practice.
I think actually that brings the biggest point, is that I think people are too discouraged by low viewer numbers initially.
Yeah.
Because because people see someone who's been practicing for years and they're millions of hits, and they think, I'm not there, so therefore I failed.
Yeah.
It's like what we've spoken about before, learning the guitar and expecting to go from playing in your house, playing simple chords, to selling out Wembley.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
So you just got to keep at it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And also you're building up a bank of content, aren't you?
Well,
however good it is, you're building up that bank of content. And if you're just waiting 5 years to build that one perfect video, it's probably going to be out of date by the time you actually publish it. At the same time, if you made a video every day, you know, how many videos are you going to have over 5 years if you're doing 5 videos a week, every week? You know, who's going to have the most subscribers after 5 years? The person who did the perfect video that's released one video in 5 years, or the person who's done 5 videos a week every week for 5 years, who's probably already got to that perfect video as well.
It's that whole thing, isn't it, really, where I think if you can get it to 80%, I'm never saying don't go for the quality.
Yeah, don't release rubbish.
But if sacrificing a bit of the production quality or a bit of the quality means that you get it out there quicker and it's not taking up all your time, then go for it. And you can apply that to many aspects of business, really.
Yeah.
Video is a huge one. We've actually found it quite successful communicating with our customers via video as well.
Yeah.
So sending email campaigns out that actually embed the video inside. again, gets a lot more engagement, because it's like what you're saying, people buy from people.
Yeah, they want to see you, don't they? People want to see who they're buying from, especially nowadays with everything being over the internet. And all you're getting is a website with stock photography and the same text that everyone else has got, the same sort of language that everyone else has got. How do you differentiate yourself? If you're just banging up stock photography that everyone else has got, and people are just coming to this site that's like, buy from us because we say that we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
What does that mean? Whereas if you start like portraying like who you are as part of your service, and like people begin to trust you, and they as well as like actually seeing you and seeing that you're an actual person, and seeing that we've got real people who work at this company, that actually also we're talking about the subject we're passionate about. So today we're talking about marketing because that's what we've been doing, and we're happy to share our sort of what we've learned with other businesses. But I suppose what our company's about in a wider sense, as well as building like SwiftCase, which helps people to run their business from a workflow system point of view. Our main overarching goal is to make people's businesses grow. We want to help people grow their businesses, and the way we do it is through our software system, but also through how we help people to define their processes, and we suggest how to improve their workflows and how to put systems in place. And your marketing is all part of that. It's all your business is one thing, isn't it? You can't take your marketing and put it completely separate to how you actually offer your service, because every time you speak to a customer, every email they get from your about your service, every customer support ticket you get, that's all part of your brand, isn't it? It's all part of your marketing. If you send some rubbish email that hasn't even got a signature on, it's like not like addressed to the right person. You've just banged out, oh hi, your system's on, rather than a nicely worded email with like your picture on, your signature is all like branded up. It might do the job, but it's not really portraying a good image, is it? It's not. And it all goes together.
Your marketing, whether you choose to or not, that's the key thing. And it's like, I think some people mistake not marketing as a symbol of authenticity. But whereas actually it's not, it's a blind spot. What they think is authenticity is probably actually just well marketed apparent authenticity.
Your brand's what you do, isn't it? It's not the logo. It's how you, it's what your the beliefs of your business, and how you sort of like follow through.
So how you answer the phone, everything is a choice that you've decided to ignore if you don't acknowledge that you're marketing at that point, isn't it?
So what else?
Well, I suppose some of the other things we've been doing is we've been writing a lot of content for our website. So we've been producing a lot of blog articles. Now, again, that's another thing that I think people are quite, it's quite daunting. Because I'm not a great writer. I'm not going to be able to put anything interesting out. I'm going to struggle. It's too much. They don't need to be incredibly long or incredibly detailed. I think that there's a lot of room for that, and it really helps in doses. Not everyone's going to come to your website and read, a 12-minute article, are they, necessarily? Those short bites of content work really well. Just on blog articles, though, it's not necessarily like you have to sit down and type it all out really quickly. One of the things we found to do recently, just say you're cooking at home and you want to put the voice recorder and then literally just read out what you were going to say. Literally just speak your mind. You can translate that into a transcript. And then you could potentially use some of that with some editing as content. It's not something where you're going to have to sit down at a computer and write an article.
I think as well, like related to that, there's also the the repurposing of content. So if you are doing a video that maybe you've got to the point where you're quite happy just doing it on the fly, or you've written a few points that you want to cover, from your video, you've maybe got like an audio version, like an audio alone version for like a podcast or some other kind of download. Then you can write it up as an article. Then you can produce like your social media with like a screen capture.
Exactly.
And then you've kind of got like, you've got all that content from one piece of content. So it doesn't need to take all the hours that it sends. We've produced blog articles. We can produce like 5 in a day. You produce 10 in a day. If
you spend the time doing it though, that article then, it turns into many things. You make a video of that article, you slice it up and you put 5 posts on throughout the day about stuff that you've written on this article.
Using the whole animal,
isn't
it? Like
exactly.
buying a whole chicken and throw it in the oven, and then when it's done, you've got.
And then just because you've released that content doesn't mean it's gone forever. Like you're saying, you can tweet that one multiple times throughout the day.
Keep resharing your content.
And I think that's important because not everyone's going to see it straight away.
And you can automate a lot of this, can't you? So obviously you can't automate yourself making a video, but once you've actually made the video, there's a lot of this. The captions will get generated automatically, and you can tweak, edit your captions. But then you've got kind of the bulk of your article, and then you can write your article, and then maybe take some of your, share it automatically. Create your tweets and like have them scheduled, so you're not sat there doing something all the time. And at the end of the day, what might be an hour a day to do, produce content, it starts getting people to come into your business. So this idea of inbound marketing, so people come in to see you who are liking what you're doing, and eventually these people begin to trust you, and they actually ask you to buy your product rather than the alternative of you going out and trying to sell to everyone who's just not interested, don't even know who you are yet. So there's as well as like a brand awareness, there's also the fact that you're building
it's nurturing the audience, isn't it?
So I suppose that's a bit about what we've been doing recently.
I mean, I think in the future it might be worth us covering the individual networks and maybe some of the things that you can do.
And how we produce a podcast, the step-by-step guide. Maybe we can do a video on that. We'll get someone to video us doing the video.
So I suppose if anyone's interested in that, just leave us a comment and
ask us any questions if you want to get started, or if you've got any tips for us about what we could do better, or any things that we haven't discussed today. Leave those in the comments below as well.
And if you want to follow us on all our social media channels, you can check us out on Twitter at SwiftCase UK. We're all on LinkedIn, as well as SwiftCase. We've got Adam Sykes, Craig McCarthy and Phil Whitby. And don't forget to check out the website, swiftcase.co.uk.
And if you want to subscribe, click the little bell in the corner, and then it'll give you a notification when a new podcast or any other content that we've been producing is available.
Great. Thanks for listening. My name's Adam Sykes, founder of SwiftCase professional productivity platform.
I've been Craig McCarthy, development manager at SwiftCase.
I'm Phil Whitby, developer.
So see you next time. Thanks for listening.